welcome to Getting Your Money's Worth, the show that focuses on value. I'm Judith West, host, and our guest today is Linda Kundell, spokesperson for the U.S. Travel Association. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for being on the show.
Pleased to be here.
So tell me something. I didn't even know that there was such a thing as the U.S. Travel Association. What is the mission of your group?
Well, the U.S. Travel Insurance Association is a professional trade association that furthers the cause of travel insurance and also sets high standards and also has a mission to educate consumers about travel insurance.
Okay, so that's what your group, it has these multi-purposes.
Right.
Okay. So, and you don't represent any one travel insurance company. You take the whole umbrella of what's available.
Right, right. I would say that 90% of the top companies that produce travel insurance and market travel insurance are members of USTIA.
Okay, fine. All right. I always wax and wane. Should I get travel insurance? Should I not get travel insurance? Do I need it? How's business? Are people buying travel insurance these days in greater numbers?
Actually, they are. The travel insurance sales have increased. If you look at like 9/11, prior to 9/11, maybe 10% of people bought travel insurance. After 9/11, about 30% of travelers, and that's been going up steadily year by year now.
So by now you have, what, half? I mean, what's...
Well, it's hard to measure because travelers are very hard to measure. You have to say what are the kinds of statistics we're looking for. Right. But I would say essentially a good probably 120 million travelers bought some kind of travel insurance last year.
Yeah.
So that's a good number.
That's a good number. Tell me something. What kinds of travel, you know, we're getting your money's worth, so let's give our viewers their money's worth. What kinds of travel insurance are available, first off? Are there different kinds?
The most common kind is what's considered the umbrella comprehensive travel insurance, and that consists of 3 parts.
Okay, what are the 3 parts?
The 3 parts are financial, and that protects your financial investment. For instance, if you have to cancel your trip.
So if you have deposits or you paid in advance and you have to cancel.
Exactly.
You get your money back?
You get your money back if it's for what's considered a covered reason, which is normally something unforeseen, like illness or a weather event.
Right.
Now, the second part is medical. And that's when you become ill, if you're traveling, if you have an accident.
Or before you travel?
Well, actually, that's the cancellation part. Yes, if you become ill before you travel.
That's part of the cancellation.
That is part of the cancellation.
But another part of this umbrella policy is if you become ill while you're traveling.
Exactly. If you become ill or you have an accident while you're traveling, the travel insurance will reimburse you for the medical, and not only reimburse you, the assistance part, which is the 3rd part, will help you in terms of finding medical care, managing your case, seeing that you get the proper medical treatment, and if you have to be evacuated someplace, and that can be very, very expensive if you have to pay on your own, they will see that you get the proper kind of evacuation.
And even if you're, what if you're in a country and you get sick and there's a language handicap?
Exactly. That's where the assistance comes in too. They will provide for translation. They will cover you. Say you're someplace in a foreign country.
And you have a heart attack. I mean, God forbid, that's the most one thing
it happens.
It happens, doesn't it?
It does happen. You'd be surprised at what kinds of things happen to people.
Right.
But you have a heart attack. What happens is someone calls the 800 number for assistance, which is, there's always an international number as well. And they evaluate the case, they find where the nearest adequate medical facility is, and they find out how to get you there. They get you there, they see that you're stabilized, they manage your case until you're ready to continue your onward trip.
Or else go home, whatever.
Or else go home. And the travel insurance, what what will happen then is you've had to interrupt your trip, you've had to cancel your reservation,
Right.
and you may have to pay a higher airfare. Where the insurance and financial part kicks in is that they will reimburse you for whatever the difference in cost is.
So this is what you call a complete umbrella policy.
Yes.
Yeah. And tell me something. What percentage of is it based on the cost of the trip? What are the variables that set the rate? The age, the health, the trip. Tell me.
Well, the age and length of trip.
Okay.
And sometimes the part of the world are the major variables.
So if you're going into, if you're older and traveling, are you going to pay more for travel insurance, Linda?
You might pay slightly more, but it might be like a percent.
Do they ask you if you have any health conditions? Do they ask you that, or?
Normally, if you have a pre-existing condition that's under control and you pay for your travel insurance at the time of your deposit,
yes,
then you will, in most cases, be covered.
Okay, like you have high blood pressure, and you tell them, you know.
And you're taking medication for it, it's under control.
And you're honest about this. Are you rated, do you have to pay more money for the insurance policy?
Not normally,
Not
no.
normally. Okay.
The individual comprehensive policy, no, not normally. But what we suggest all the time is that if you have any questions, every company has a 1-800 number, and we suggest that you call up the customer service, ask any questions that you have, find out before you purchase the policy.
Have you had to mediate in situations where folks had a policy and they didn't feel that they got their money's worth out of the policy?
As an association, we don't do that because it's up to the individual company to do that.
But you have validated these companies and vetted them for their standard of customer service.
Oh yes, yes, yes. They're very reputable companies.
All right, so that's an umbrella policy that you buy prior to your departure.
Correct.
Are there other kinds of policies?
There are medical-only policies. So if you only wanted medical coverage, you can buy a medical-only policy, but those policies are more like your traditional health coverage.
Oh, I see.
So those are going to go more extensively into your health record.
I see.
And if you have to cancel or your trip is delayed, say you run into bad weather, you're not going to have a whole lot of coverage with those.
I see. I want to ask you something about this bad weather and catastrophes. So many things that happen to travelers are the result of bad weather, especially now. The weather gods seem to be very angry these days. And my sense of it is that you don't get very much compensation from the airline when it's a weather-related failure of the airline to serve you.
You're 100% right. The airlines.
Is that fair?
Well, we're not here to talk about what's fair or not fair, but the airlines, in a way, the airlines can't help it. It's something beyond their control. It's beyond our control. The airlines are responsible when it's a mechanical problem. They own that problem, but they don't own the weather.
So if they send a plane in that's supposed to depart at 7 p.m. on Tuesday evening, and that plane doesn't depart until the next morning due to mechanical failure, and the staff has too many hours on board or some other thing, and you have to spend the night someplace, is the airline responsible?
For that, yes. But and this has happened to me, which is why I'm smiling. If you're caught in a snowstorm and the airport closes down, there are no flights, the airline is not responsible.
Is the airport responsible?
The airport, you know what? I've slept on an airport floor and it is not comfortable.
Yes,
but the airport is not responsible either. They will provide accommodations. So that's why.
So that piece of a potential problem for a traveler is not covered by anybody's insurance?
Except travel insurance.
Travel insurance covers
travel
that.
Insurance
so travel
covers,
insurance covers weather-related. So if the airline has to stop flying because of the weather or because the airport shuts down, and you have to go out and get 2 hotel rooms, one for you and your wife and one for your kids, And after all, you can't get your baggage is already checked, and you have to buy something to sleep in, some nightwear or something. You've got to buy your family a meal and everything. That's all covered under the umbrella travel insurance.
Well, it is covered under delay and interruption. So every policy has a different limit. So you may have a limit, it may be like anywhere, depending on the policy, from $100 a day to there may be like a $500 overall limit. Now that may be under the delay portion. I'm sorry, that may be under the interruption portion, but the delay will also take care of your meals, any incidentals you need to buy as well.
Even if the delay and or the interruption is caused by weather.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Totally.
I've had to use it. I had to use it last year in Denver.
Because I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding about that. So if you are delayed and interrupted, and you miss your next connection, or you miss you're going on a cruise and you miss your boat, you miss your ship, whatever, you could call on your, you can call on your policy to get, they don't help you get new reservations.
Yes, they do.
Oh, they do? Oh, they do. Okay, fine.
There is a little bit of a caveat. Once again,
Yes.
I have to stress that you have to check your policy. Because let's say you've bought a really cheap bare bones policy, that may not cover a whole lot. It's
What is the price range of these policies?
Good question. The price range normally is 4 to 8% of the total cost of the policy. Now, the assistance portion, if you're stuck at the airport, when you call up that assistance number, they will help try to rebook your flight. They'll help you with that, and they'll help you find accommodations as well. There's also something you were asking about the types of travel insurance. There's something called a cancel for any reason policy, and that allows you to cancel for an even broader range of reasons. So that costs.
If you have to cancel or you get canceled, either one.
Well, you know, if you decide normally, fear is not what's called a covered reason for travel.
You suddenly get a panic attack and you can't travel.
You say, I can't go. Well, a normal travel insurance policy is not going to cover you for that. However, a cancel for any reason very likely may cover that.
Okay, we have. I mean, there's more to this topic than you think.
There's a lot more.
There's several kinds of policy, and what we say is the average policy is 4 to 8%. And I suppose if we want to summarize, Linda, and we do, if we want to. The most important thing is to really read your policy or understand before you sign up for it, and see if it covers the broad range of possibility. And what do you do? Is it make an assessment how long you're going to travel, what areas you travel, to try to be an intelligent consumer of these policies?
Well, obviously, travel insurance is for the unforeseen, so you can't always foresee what's going to happen. But what you could do is think about, well, what could happen to me, and will this policy cover these types of situations? Ask your questions.
Ask the questions.
Yes, and another important thing too.
So ask your questions is really important. And what else is it? We have only like a few seconds left. What else?
The other thing is that most policies will give you a grace period where you can actually evaluate the policy. If you don't like it, you can get your money back.
Oh, that's good to know.
And peace of mind. You know, you're paying for your peace of mind.
What value are you going to put? What value are you going to put on peace of mind, not to have to worry if anything goes wrong?
Exactly.
Sometimes just the assistance that you described is more important than the money that you might not have spent, just not having to worry about these things.
Exactly. That's normally why I buy it, just to know I'm covered.
Right, exactly. Okay, thanks. You've given us a very good education. I'm going to use it myself now in travel insurance, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. My pleasure.
I'm Judith West, and you're watching Getting Your Money's Worth, and myself included, we just got a bit of an education in the value of travel insurance. Thanks for watching.